Hello, my four subscribers. This is Emerald Green Eye here, and I'm going to be doing you like my usual videos that I do, uh, election scenarios and stuff like that. Um, this one will be another 2020 election, although this won't be exactly a prediction since this probably will never ever happen. But this is a 2020 electoral map. President Trump versus former President Jimmy Carter, whose term went from 1976 to 1980. He was beaten out in a landslide by Ronald Reagan. Um, Obviously, Jimmy Carter probably will not run. There is probably a 999,000 to 1 chance he'll run, so very low. But he is eligible to run since he is eligible to be elected to a second term. So Jimmy Carter versus President Trump 2020, how would that play out? Well, I think I'm just going to go west to east. Jimmy Carter would win these western states. He has the moderate liberal appeal. He has just all sorts of appeal, especially to the, I'm at all sorts of appeal to the liberal east or west coast. Sorry, I'm getting my words all tangled up today. I have work in a few minutes, so that's probably why. But this scenario just popped into my head, and I really wanted to do it. But yeah, the west coast trending really far to the left. It won't go Republican probably again in my lifetime, unless there's an upset candidate like Howard Schultz. But Trump would win Alaska. Trump would win the Mountain West, like all these states. I'm going to come back to Nebraska second. I do believe that Trump would win the deeper South. Uh, these states here, Mississippi, Alabama, coal country, South Carolina, these states are not going to go or Democrat anytime soon. He'd win Indiana. That's where his running mate's from. For this map, I'm not going to be using the likely lean toss up tilt thing. I'm just going to do straight up winner winner takes state. So Jimmy Carter would win Illinois. That state is not going to go Republican anytime soon. However, it probably will go Republican in my lifetime. I'm almost 18 years old. Um, he'd win D.C., Maryland, uh, Delaware, New Jersey. He'd win these Mid-Atlantic Democratic states that are trending a little bit right, but they probably won't go right very soon. He'd win Maine first. Maine first is a classical liberal area. Now Carter, he teaches Sunday school. He has a large evangelical appeal, so that will really help him in the South. I believe he will carry Virginia, especially since the state's trending Democratic, and he'd win the DC suburbs. He'd win Richmond. He has rural appeal to the Christian voters, so he'd win Virginia. President Trump on the other side of the on the other side of the aisle, I believe that he would win Texas again, even though Texas is moving a little bit further to the left. I don't see any Democrat carrying Texas in 2020. It's just too soon. The earliest to see the Democrats putting Texas up is maybe 2024 or 2028, around there. But Jimmy Carter would win New Mexico. I think he speaks Spanish. He has appeal to the Hispanic voters there. And however, I have President Trump was winning Arizona due to the immigration issues, and I believe I believe that Arizona is going to be voting Republican for Donald Trump, and that's the last time in a very long time the state will go Republican. So I believe that President Trump will win Arizona regardless in 2020. I believe Carter would win Nevada. Um, Again, due to the appeal to the Hispanic voters. I believe he'd also win Colorado. Carter's very he created the Department of Education, and he has several very socially liberal policies that could work well in Denver and Boulder. Um, so yeah, that's really a mixed bag, but I think Carter would win it. Carter would win Minnesota. He won that twice, and Minnesota, I believe that Carter definitely has that appeal to the Twin Cities, and Carter also has some appeal to the industrial workers and especially the unions. So that's why I see him as winning Minnesota. I see Donald Trump as taking the second congressional district in Maine, simply due to the fact that President Carter, he is getting up there. I don't believe he could campaign everywhere. There'd be some places that he'd lose through in, and Maine second would be one of them. However, he'd win Maine at large. I believe Maine at large isn't ready to flip Republican just yet. I mean, unless the Democrats really come out with a bomb bombing candidate for the party. Sorry, I didn't know what I was going to say there. But I believe President Trump would win the state of Florida because Florida has voted for the incumbent president since George H.W. Bush. It did not vote for Carter in 1980. Carter performed abysmally, especially in the panhandle. Um, you're probably wondering why Missouri is still there. I think Trump would win Missouri, but I think Carter would have appeal. Missouri, like much of these Midwestern states, is moving further to the right, so Trump would win it regardless. Hasn't gone Democratic since Bill Clinton. But Carter is a Southern Democrat, and the easiest type of Democrat to elect is a Southern Democrat. And I'm going to be quite bold here later on in the video. But I believe President Trump would win Ohio. His approval rating's quite high in Ohio. Of all these Rust Belt states, I believe Ohio is the one he can definitely win in 2020 without pretty much contention. How and up north, I believe. Actually, I'm going to go back to the north again, as I was talking about the Southern Democrat thing earlier. I believe Carter would win his home state of Georgia and North Carolina. The reason I say that is both these states are moving further to the left. Carter has these appeal to evangelicals. I think he could definitely get the younger vote too, like a Bernie Sanders type figure, only he's not as far to the left as Bernie Sanders. He's quite moderate in some areas. He's really that old-fashioned Democrat of the party that could win over the older voters as well, which is why I see him winning these two states. However, President Trump, things aren't over for him, by no means, because I believe that against Carter, he'd win Pennsylvania. Because while yes, Carter does have that older Democrat appeal and the evangelical vote, I believe he would not capture this Eastern Rust Belt appeal like Donald Trump can, especially due to his age. And I believe that would cost him deeply in Pennsylvania. He'd be seen as not really with the times. I believe that Donald Trump would also carry the state. I mean, let's see. Iowa went for. I'm going to go to Iowa. Iowa went for Donald Trump more than Texas did in 2016, but Carter has that appeal to evangelicals, and I don't see him winning Texas because of the bright red, because of the bright red areas in Texas. But then again, Iowa has historically been more of a swing state than Texas, and Carter was well liked in Iowa. Obviously, not in his in the later half of his first term, but yeah, I think that Carter would win. I think Carter would win a substantial amount of the popular vote, but I think that Donald Trump can narrowly edge out a win in the state at large. Same goes for Nebraska second. I believe that Carter could definitely have appeal to the older vote, to the evangelical vote, to the and to the kind of quote unquote blue dog Democrat. That's why I have the selection being so close, because Carter is somewhat of a blue dog Democrat. He and Trump do agree on several issues. Carter is a populist. Trump's a bit of a populist. So that's why I think that Carter would give Trump a run for his money in 2020. I don't think really many of the other Democratic candidates could give Trump a run for his money in 2020. That's honest to God, because the economy is doing well and everything's better than the Obama administration. I'm going to finish this up. I believe Jimmy Carter would win New Hampshire. I believe that Donald Trump would win Wisconsin and Michigan, narrowly robbing Carter of his second term again. So this would be a really close election. Carter would I don't know if he'd try his hardest necessarily, but the party would try their hardest to push him. I'm Emerald Green Eye. I'll see you later. Hope you enjoyed.